is actually also a stable coin itself. So it's pegged at $1 and it's backed by popular yield-bearing strategies in the vault. And the yield is distributed to anyone holding USDS without needing them to pay any sort of gas. They don't have to claim, they don't have to stake, they don't have to do anything. They just hold on to the USDS and they collect auto yield installments gas-free. So this really enables new users to harness stablecoin yield in a very user-friendly way. They don't have to be a finance nor a crypto expert just to do something simple like get some yield on stablecoins. So the protocol's been going quite well thus far. We're sitting at a TVL of about 10 million. It is down from our peak of 25 million, but that kind of just comes with the territory of building in a bear market. So we're not being deterred by that. We're just continuing to make it more accessible and unlock more partnerships to get that TVL back up. So that is USDS, the stablecoin backed by on-chain stablecoin yield strategies. But we have a dual token system. So we also have a governance token or a DAO token called SPA. And SPA has a really cool role in the ecosystem. So they get to determine how the stablecoin fund generates the yield. And in exchange, they actually get a revenue split from some of the yield generated by the stablecoins in the fund. And half of all of the yield generated on that collateral is used to buy back SPA from the open market, and then it's distributed to anyone that's governing the protocol by staking their SPA. But what's really cool is that all of the incentives are aligned in this model. So one could entertain a situation where SPA takers or SPA stakers are very yield hungry, and they might take on a little bit too much risk for the protocol. And if some of the collateral is lost, the fund becomes under collateralized. But thanks to our new 100% collateral design and the ability for the protocol to actually mint SPA, if this ever happened where the SPA holders elected to take on too much risk, they're actually liable for the downside. So if there was an event where the collateral is lost, the SPA stakers are on the hook because some SPA would have to be minted in order to compensate the stablecoin holders. So it's really a beautiful system that aligns all the incentives here. And the buyback system and the revenue split is working quite well so far. So even though the spot price is down, there's a little bit of a silver lining. For SPA stakers, the APY has increased to over 2,000%. This is all funded with organic yield. And the total SPA buyback is now over 3 million units. This week alone, we've bought back nearly 1 million units of SPA from the open market, and there's still another $2,500 left in that budget to continue buybacks. And we see that the market is gaining wind of this. We have noticed that the stakers have increased significantly in the last 2 weeks. So in the last 7 days, we saw a 15% increase. And in the last 14 days, we've seen a 25% increase. So this is a direct result of people seeing this increased APY from the buybacks. And we just view this as a massive validation that the system's working beautifully. And as SPA price goes down, the yield will go up. So now we have over 50 million SPA staked, and it's an average of almost 3 years. So we're very excited about that. And it's a great proof of concept for this economic boomerang, which I'm sure we'll talk more about today. And a quick update on the growth and business development front. My department, we're working on a Frax proposal now. So Sam Kaisman recently publicly supported our Curve proposal to launch a Frax USDS pool. There's a slight change to that proposal. We're actually going to launch a meta pool instead of a base pool. So stay tuned for the update to that and then an on-chain vote later this week. We're beginning the process of diversifying away from USDT. So we're working with the Vesta team to begin doing USDT to VST swaps. We'll talk more about that. In 10 days, we have a new farm coming out, which is going to be a stablecoin farm. So anyone that is very interested in the stablecoin yield, no impermanent loss, fixed APR, we will be rolling over that farm with a new budget starting in 10 days. Two more updates. First, USDS is now live on Transact. So you can go to app.sperax.io, plug in your credit card or your bank account, and boom, drop USDS directly into your wallet. SPA will be listed on there shortly as well, but for now it's just USDS. And then finally, our partnership with StreetBeat, which is our DeFi mullet strategy. So we partner with regulated fintech companies so the user gets to deal with their favorite app on the front end, but on the back end, it's actually powered by DeFi, powered by the Sperax USD protocol to give those users high interest on stablecoins without requiring them to be a DeFi expert. So the total users from that partnership is now past 41,000. It's attracted over $700,000 worth of TVL mints. And yeah, there's a great promo running right now. So if you go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and download StreetBeat, you create an account, you get some USDS, and you will be eligible for a $3,000 to $3,000 bonus. So go check out that app, go get some USDS. It's probably the easiest way to acquire it. And yeah, go participate in the promotional bonus campaign. And those are all the updates from my side. Thanks so much. I'll pass it on.
Yeah, thanks, Alec. So next, Sub, who is our head of product, if you have any updates on your end.
So we launched a new marketing site today. It just got refreshed. We're working on decentralization, and we will be launching off-chain governance portal very soon. Probably we'll have a write-up on how the off-chain governance mechanism will work. And, the community can sort of discuss that in Discord, and looking forward to any suggestions we could sort of take from there and maybe make some changes to our off-chain governance process. But it's going to be live early next week or next week. Apart from that, we're working very hard on yield strategies. I believe Ray will speak more about it from the engineering standpoint. We are also working very hard on overall on-chain decentralization and a few more product updates like Farm Factory. I've spoken about them in detail previously. I will not talk about it, but the core theme of the product as of now is decentralization, putting the power in the hands of the community, going cross-chain, and implementing on-chain governance and creating more opportunities for revenue generation for USDS, which comes in the form of the Farm Factory contract and a few more ideas. Yeah, that's pretty much it from product side. I'll pass the baton to you.
Great, thanks, Sub. Yeah, I think we'll have a chance here in a couple minutes to maybe go a little deeper on the Farm Factory contract a little bit. But next, Nico, if you wouldn't mind just giving us an update on what you're working on.
I think we covered like all the key aspects. I'll repeat everything from my side just to make sure everyone in the community is up to date. So the first strategic priority when it comes to us is to diversify our yield strategies, make sure we can generate yield from our underlying collateral in multiple different ways that are not necessarily correlated with each other, such as to be able to generate high yield even in a bear market scenario. That's important for two reasons. First of all, the higher the yield we generate, the more of that yield we can pass to USDS holders. So we believe that this is a great way to increase the adoption of USDS in an organic manner. I have to say that this is yield that is not subsidized, and this is yield that doesn't inflate the circulating supply. So it's not that we print USDS out of thin air to distribute that yield. Secondly, that yield process is going to be extremely important for SPA holders for the simple reason that the more yield we generate, the more revenue goes towards SPA stakers, which is being used to buy back SPA from the open market. So the more diversified yield strategies we have, the more constant buying pressure we have week over week for SPA from the open market, which those SPA tokens are being used to reward stakers. And as Alec mentioned before, given the extremely low prices of SPA at the moment, this translates to almost 2,000% APY, or a bit more than 2,000% APY max APY for SPA stakers, which is an incredibly high number, given that almost all of it is being driven by buybacks. Finally, the other thing that is the number one priority from us is decentralization. We are working on a governance model. In the beginning, we will start with the off-chain governance model, then we'll transition towards a more on-chain governance model. And yeah, the idea is to decentralize all the key decision making within the Sperax ecosystem. So effectively, the people who can benefit more by Sperax adoptions, SPA stakers, are going to be the ones involved in all the key decisions. And I think this is going to be really exciting because it will come at a time where we're going to open source all of our code and make sure that the way we operate is completely transparent and auditable on chain.
Perfect. Thank you, Nico. I see that we have a couple of requests to come on stage. We'll get to you guys in just a moment, so just hang tight. Ray, if you wouldn't mind taking the mic and giving us an update from the engineering standpoint.
Yeah, thank you, Elliot. So I think you can hear a common theme here is we're working on diversifying our strategy, our yield strategy. So that's where we're focused on. So it's just as Alec and Nico said, our team is looking at developing multiple strategies. So we've got several strategies already in play, and we'll have those. You'll see those launch in the next few weeks coming up. We have a big roadmap that we're working on, which Sub has mentioned a little bit. So we have a bunch of other products that we're going to develop. We'll have the DAO and more smart contracts and services that we're going to do. We're obviously, as a team, we're looking at diversifying or increasing our partnership program as well with other partners. You've seen, you've heard of Transact and StreetBeat, but we're also looking to enhance that and expand on that. So that's the main update on the engineering side of things. So we're developing the smart contracts. The front end is being developed, and we're expanding on that. We've added a new member to our team who's joined this past week. He was previously a smart contract auditor, so that enhances even further our security background in terms of making sure that the smart contracts we deploy and are safe, so that your funds remain safe and don't get hacked. That is our number one priority, and we'll continue from there. That's it. Thanks, Elliot.
Perfect. Thank you, Ray, for the update. I am pulling Talha up on stage here. We'll let him connect, and then he can ask his question live. All right, Talha, you are on stage. If you have a question, you're welcome to ask away. Talha, did you have a question? You're currently on mute.
Can I ask my question?
Yes, please, go right ahead. Go ahead and ask your question, sir.
Can I ask my question?
Yes, please, go right ahead. Can you hear us, Talha? If you have a question, go right ahead. Okay, maybe we'll give Talha a second.
Can you tell us that 2022 years means can you important milestone achieved by your product till now?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure that I caught the question. If anybody else did, they're welcome to jump in. If not, we'll have you repeat your question one more time.
I couldn't catch the question. Tala, can you please repeat your question?
Can you tell us which details of important milestones achieved by your project so far, and what's your top priorities for the rest of the year?
Okay, very good. I got that. So, what are our achievements thus far, and what are our top priorities for the year?
Yeah, I think I can get started on that, and please jump in if you guys feel like feel free to jump in, guys. So the top thing I think launching a DeFi project is in itself one of the biggest milestones that we had. We have had very successful. We have had a very successful launch. We have so far not. I mean, we have been safe from any kind of hacks or protocol inefficiencies. So that I would consider as one of the biggest successes as well. Our token listings have been really good. We have got Arbitrum, direct deposit and Arbitrum support from a couple of major centralized exchanges. So I would consider them as a major milestone as well in our journey. Then we had, very successful liquidity mining campaigns for both USDS SPY and USDS USDC token pairs. We have also had some very interesting technological breakthroughs in terms of building a first Uniswap V3 farm protocol, which we are planning to replicate in the form of a separate product as well. So I believe these are some of the key milestones. Alec, I mean, would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, I thought that was a great start. And then just to shed a little bit more light, some of the yield farming campaigns have been so successful that, we're now the number one most liquid trading pair on Uniswap on Arbitrum. The USDC USDS pair is the number one by TVL. So that makes the product safer and more accessible. We're also now delivering DeFi products to non-DeFi users. So anyone that is interested can just go download StreetBeat and they can begin harnessing the power of DeFi without having to be a DeFi expert. So that's something I'm really proud of and really excited to deliver because people shouldn't have to be like a crypto or DeFi expert to harness the power of stablecoin yield. And then finally, an additional an accomplishment we had was we are the first direct to Arbitrum assets when it comes to withdrawing from centralized exchanges and fiat on-ramping. So all other projects, you have to go through annoying bridges and you have to wait through delay periods. But if you're using Sperax assets, you can actually skip that and you can go directly in and out of centralized exchanges or deposit directly to Arbitrum through Transact. So I think that we've done a great job of making the products extremely liquid, but also extremely accessible for those that aren't crypto or DeFi experts like, everyone in this room.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Alec. Hanzala, thank you for being patient. If you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask us live.
Okay, can I ask my question?
Yes, please, go right ahead.
Okay, security is the top concern of every project, but currently a lot of tokens and blockchain have been hacked. So how do you ensure the mechanism of your security project? And do you have any insurance for users?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that question. So that's a great question. And yes, security is our top priority for sure. We don't release any contracts without thoroughly reviewing it. And in case of complex smart contracts, we have them definitely audited. We have a procedure in which we deliver smart contracts. So obviously we have a spec that we identify how the product is supposed to work, but we also identify from there what its interfaces are, because from the interfaces is how you define your surface area of attack, right? So the more a smart contract has functions that are exposed, that can be publicly called, the greater the surface area of attack. We do a threat model. We obviously do after the implementation, we do multiple code reviews and review from multiple perspectives. We run different tools like Slitter and MythX to catch any potential issues that automated tools can detect to complement our human code reviews. And then, of course, we have test cases. We never release a smart contract unless it's over 90% code coverage. So we want to make sure we have, very strong code coverage. And at times all the functions within the contract are covered at 100%. So that's an important aspect of it. And then finally, we do integration testing as well. So we do bug bashes that help suss out any potential issues in terms of integration that would impact functionality or potential security problems. And then we finally release the smart contract. And of course, we monitor it. For every smart contract that we release, we have a subgraph to monitor its activities and look for any suspicious transactions. In terms of your last question about insurance, we do not purchase insurance on smart contracts or our products. Hope that answers your question. I'm happy to answer any additional questions if you have on that particular topic.
Okay, thank you so much. I got it, and best wishes for your project.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Great question. Next up, we have Tiju. You have the stage if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hey lads, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can. Go right ahead.
All right. So my question is, what if we change the name of SPA to something a little more specific, like Sperax DAO or SPA governance token? Because I feel that when people see SPA and how the price reflects what it actually can do, they expect it to do something it's completely not meant for. Like some people seem to expect that. Oh, let me rephrase that. Some people think that SPA is actually the stable coin, and it already depegged when USDS is actually the product on the table.
Yeah, I love that question. Alec, do you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, I think that this is important. It's important. I think this session is good because we need to hear about where the confusion actually lies. So, would more educational content pertaining to what's kind of going on under the hood, would that be helpful? First off, and then second off, I just want to kind of let you know that we're going to be doing blog posts every single Friday. So what we can do is we could prioritize a blog post, kind of reintroducing the roles in the ecosystem. So one would be like a stablecoin holder, and then the other one being an SPA holder. And we could actually prioritize an educational piece around that and pin that in the various channels. You think that would start the narrative and start the conversation to better understand the difference between the two tokens?
Yeah, I think that it would, for people willing to do the research themselves and actually learn the difference between USDS and SPA, I think it'd be a great help. And I think, if you were to you could still use SPA as like the ticker and the go-to acronym in docs and stuff once people finally understand that there is a difference between the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And this is like it's a fairly straightforward conceptually product, but when you get down into it, having the two different tokens becomes very confusing. So that's great to know. And then, so Elliot, we got a new task. Let's prioritize the USDS versus SPA educational piece.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for the great question. We love to hear the feedback. It's always super valuable to us. Okay, very good. So next, I brought up on stage Tangboy. If you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Yes, please. Go right ahead.
Okay. What happens to the XPS that we mine when the wallet shut down, and what are the uses of this XPS?
I'm sorry, could you ask your question one more time? I didn't catch that.
Okay. What happens to the XPS that we mine through a mobile phone when the wallet shut down?
I see what you're asking. Alec, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, it sounds to me like the question is pertaining to a sister product and a sister company, which was originally the Play Wallet. But we actually cut ties with that brand a couple of months ago. I'm happy to link the blog post announcing that. It was a very expensive product that was adjacent to the protocol. So we can follow up with that blog post to further explain it. But yeah, this is just pertaining to the open source decentralized stablecoin protocol, not the old wallet application. So I'll have to just link you that blog post. But yeah, we're completely separate entities now.
All right, thank you for that, Alex. So let's move on. I don't see any other requests for live questions. So a couple of chat questions. Do you have an explicit DAO-specific roadmap, step by step? That might be something, Sub, if you want to expand on that a little bit. If we have a DAO-specific roadmap. Sub, are you still there? You might be still on mute.
Hey, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, we definitely do have, like, as I mentioned before. So first step of the process is implementing a blog post which would detail how we are thinking about off-chain governance. And once we launch that, we will start our discussions over there with respect to what the actual on-chain DAO should look like, and particularly what the quorum should be, what the threshold should be, which chain should we prioritize for building, so that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's sort of the roadmap. And we have some key facets of what it should look like. But I mean, we want to have the community participate in the overall DAO design and discussions. And to kickstart that process, we are going ahead and launching an off-chain governance, so which would incorporate a forum and a few Discord channels and snapshot voting. And once we have that in place, I think it would be relatively easy for us to transition that into an on-chain DAO. It does involve a bit of development work, and we have sort of done the groundwork to implement that. But yeah, I don't think it should be a process which the team should be doing in silos, which is why we first want to launch the off-chain governance part, and once the off-chain governance is live, we will start discussing the on-chain DAO over there.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Sub. And we will have along the roadmap for our DAO different articles coming out, helping to educate the community as far as where we are, how it's operating, and what the next steps are. So just stay tuned for more educational content around the DAO as we roll it out.
Yeah.
The next. Oh, go ahead, Sub.
And just adding a couple of things, like, so we have done some of the groundwork when it comes to building the on-chain DAO. As you all know, the VSPA token is already out there. We have already created the VSPA token, which is there on Ethereum and Arbitrum, that will form the base for our DAO as well. And apart from that, we have also done a ton of research in terms of how to capture information from one chain to another using different bridges, which will also form one of the most important part of our DAO design. We have also forked a couple of DAOs that are currently out there in the market to see the way in which they work and how we can fit into it and stuff like that. But actual decisions would be taken once we kickstart the process of the off-chain DAO. And that is something which is going to come very soon, maybe early next week or next week, something like that.
Very good. Thank you, Sub. The next question, this might be a good one for Nico. The question comes from Spyro. Do you see more risks in USDT in comparison to USDC? If so, how is it reflected in future collateral structure in comparison to today's structure?
Yes, so this question has two answers. So first of all, when it comes to the team and that approach, yeah, we view USDT subjectively a bit riskier than USDC. That's mostly because of the lack of transparency when it comes to its reserves, and also the fact that redemptions are not open for the whole public when it comes to redeeming Tether for real world dollars. Having that in mind, we decided to slowly diversify away from Tether. So we will be adding more diversified stablecoin collateral in the next few weeks. We plan to introduce DAI, VST, and Frax as a collateral. So that our pool of collateral will move away from Tether, and the amount of Tether reserves we have will significantly diminish. However, when it comes to the long-term plan, we want those decisions to be driven by the community. So we envision a future where SPA stakers will be in charge of actually deciding the exact weight composition and how collateral will be deployed on different strategies. But until we move there, we just want to expand the options and get more diversified and decentralized collateral to back USDS, while also keeping in mind that we want to be able to generate some decent yield on that collateral. So yeah, the short answer is we're slowly moving away from Tether. We will be adding Frax, VST, and DAI as collateral, and Tether dominance will significantly decline within Sperax protocol.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Nico. And Alec, as we kind of talk about the DAO, would you be able to shed some light on what the Sperax Foundation's role will be once we are fully decentralized and the DAO is live?
Yeah, I can start on this, and maybe some other people will add to it. But I just want to make it very clear that once the DAO is live, it's not like the Sperax team is just going to disappear and, just hand the keys over to the community. The ultimate decision will be made via an on-chain vote, so the community makes the final decision. But the Sperax Foundation and the Sperax core team is here to support the community on the various decisions. So, for example, if a proposal came about suggesting a new collateral be added, the Sperax team can go do a risk assessment, seeing what the liquidity levels are like, seeing where this asset could generate yield in various different ecosystems. So we can be there basically acting as analysts, so the Sperax token holders can make well-educated decisions when considering what type of assets do we want to bring into the collateral pool. Where do we want those assets to be deployed? Because we love high yield, but we still need to manage risk. So we're here to help the community understand that risk-reward trade-off and ultimately just be analysts for the leaders of the community, which are the token holders.
Yeah, very good, Alec. I appreciate that insight. So next question, and this actually can go out to multiple team members, so someone jump in. Can you please give more detail on the new meta pool that you will be launching? How will you incentivize that pool, and what's the target liquidity? Why did you take the decision of not launching a base pool with Frax?
Yeah, I can answer the latter. So when it came to getting support from partners, particularly Frax and the Curve community, we were going to get the most support if we launched this meta pool. It was just the preference of Sam and the Frax community. So we just figured we want to work with the partners and ensure that the opportunity is lucrative with SPA price down. We wanted to ensure that the APY was lucrative, so we elected to go the meta pool route, where we will get more incentives from both the Frax and the Curve community.
Yeah, so as Alex said, effectively, that was our best strategy when it comes to maximizing the APY we can offer. And more interestingly, most of the APY won't be driven by just SPA emissions, but CRV and Frax share emissions will significantly contribute. So we just wanted to maximize the return to farming, and we thought that was the best strategy without adding any significant risk to the profile the protocol. So with that in mind, we decided to move along those lines. When it comes to our target liquidity, the market is quite volatile right now, so I don't want to anchor some specific expectations, but definitely our goal is for our users to be able to do swaps in the range of millions without any significant slippage. So that's what we're aiming.
Very good. Thanks, guys. The last question is, when you diversify the stable collateral across various protocols to generate yield, what's the minimum APR you're looking for? And which protocols do you take into account when allocating capital?
So we see things in a much more holistic manner. What does that mean is that a specific strategy doesn't necessarily have a minimum APY. Take Aave as an example. The APYs are quite low right now, but it's considered one of the safest ways to generate yield. And also it has a lot of potential for the yields to go up in the future. So we have a much more holistic strategy. We care about the risk-reward ratio. I believe that we will be able to meet that 10-11% target with the new strategies we'll be adding. We plan to add the Frax DST pool together with Stargate protocol as well as Aave. So with all of those, I believe we can reach that target, but as we have said multiple times, the final APY is going to be market determined. So we're just doing our best to meet the target, but it's not a promise in any way.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Nico. So that is all of the questions that we have today about building through the bear. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. This has been recorded, so we will post it on the Sperax Discord and also have a transcript up for you all later. So thanks again to the team for their time today, and we will be back next week better than ever for another AMA. So we look forward to seeing you then.
Thanks
Thanks,
guys.
Elliot. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.